back to the Daily Grind. Thanks for checking out the channel. Make sure to hit subscribe if you're new and hit thumbs up if you're not a baby back pickle biting bitch boy, cause you know what time it is. It's full time.
MMA.
The UFC's brand new female flyweight champion Nicco Montano, who just won the Ultimate Fighter finale season 26 fight versus Roxanne Modafferi, where she became the UFC's inaugural female flyweight champion, joined Ariel Helwani today on the MMA Hour and said that she does not believe Paige VanZant nor Valentina Shevchenko deserve to get the first crack at her title. She said she believes actually Sijara Eubanks should get the first title. If you don't know who Sijara Eubanks is, she is the lady who she didn't miss weight. She was hospitalized due to weight cutting issues, so she was pulled out from 1 day notice from her fight versus Nicco Montano. So Roxanne Modafferi had to step up and fight Nicco Montano on 1 day's notice in this title fight. Nicco Montano got the decision in the fight. I believe it was a 5-round decision, but now she's 4-2 in her professional MMA career. I did a little research on her, as you should, since she's a brand new UFC champion, and she's 4-2 in her professional MMA career. Coming into the Ultimate Fighter house, she was coming off of a 5-round loss. So if you go to like Sherdog and see her actual professional record, it says a win over Roxanne Modafferi for the title, but before that was a loss. So it's a little interesting, you know, she actually is the UFC champion coming off of a professional loss, but that's just, you know, minor here, because the thing a lot of people have been saying is that Nicco Montano, the new female flyweight champion, will not be the champion for long, as Valentina Shevchenko, who is arguably the pound-for-pound greatest female fighter on the planet today, is going to be moving to 125-pound division, as it's a brand new division. She used to fight at 135, where she almost won that belt, and she can fight at 125 pounds, which is where she's moving down to. So a lot of people see Valentina Shevchenko, or just any of these other storied UFC female veterans, you know, that have a lot of experience, who haven't been able to fight at this division because it didn't exist before this point. So Valentina Shevchenko, Paige VanZant, Jessica Eye, there's a lot of UFC fighters from the 115 and 135 pound division that are trying to move up, and they're all going to want that title. Now, a lot of people are under the assumption that Valentina Shevchenko is going to be the one to claim the title, no matter who she has to go through, because even if it wasn't Nicco Montano that was the champion, Valentina Shevchenko is probably going to be the queen of that division. That's who I think is going to be the queen of the division. Valentina Shevchenko herself, of course, said she's not going to consider herself the champion until she earns it. But what this video is about is Nicco Montano and what she had to say on the MMA Hour specifically. And all of that backstory has a little bit to do with this, because Nicco Montano said she's not scared of Valentina Shevchenko or Paige VanZant, but she doesn't feel like they deserve to be the first person to challenge for the title. Now, I've got to tell you, this situation is almost exactly like the Demetrius Johnson versus TJ Dillashaw Ray Borg, when he fought Ray Borg over TJ Dillashaw situation. She said that even though Sijara Eubanks did miss weight in this title fight, she still made weight 3 times, you know, during the Ultimate Fighter house when she beat, you know, she won 3 fights to get that title shot. She said she had to make weight 3 times, so she's made 125 pounds before. It's just she went back home after the Ultimate Fighter house and got away from that diet, and so she had a little trouble making it this time, but she still believes she deserves the title fight over Valentina Shevchenko or Paige VanZant, who have never fought at this weight class. Now, a lot of people are going to straight say, yo, Nicco Montano's ducking the fade. She is ducking the fade from Valentina. She doesn't want any smoke with these UFC fighters that are going to have this title soon. And I can't say I completely disagree with you there, because she that's, you know, she's saying she's not scared, and that's one thing I'm not going to say. I'm not going to say she's scared of Valentina Shevchenko or Paige VanZant. I'm not going to say when she goes to sleep at night, fucking Paige VanZant or Valentina Shevchenko are you know, haunting her dreams. She's not having nightmares. But does she think she can fucking beat Valentina Shevchenko in an MMA fight? You know, who would be the heavy favorite? Probably Valentina Shevchenko. She might believe in herself and think she can beat her, but I mean, come on. It's kind of like, I mean, Demetrius Johnson, yeah, he does believe he can beat TJ Dillashaw, but when you're a UFC champion, you're probably going to try and take the lowest risk and the highest reward. Who is that here? I mean, it's probably Sijara Eubanks. If you fight Valentina Shevchenko, yeah, she's a bigger fighter. There's going to be more eyes on the fight, but you might lose your title, as Valentina Shevchenko, as I said, is one of the greatest female fighters on the planet. She's got a Muay Thai background. Her MMA, I mean, she just fought Amanda Nunes in a 5-round decision. Some people had Valentina Shevchenko winning that fight, and that's at a weight class above arguably where she should be fighting. As long as Valentina, and that is one thing that is true now, we have not seen Valentina Shevchenko fight at 125 pounds in the UFC, but that's because the division has not been there. So yes, that argument is true. Well, we've never seen him make the weight, and that's kind of what TJ Dillashaw said, and that's why this reminds me so much of that, because TJ Dillashaw was like, yeah, even the weight cutting issues. It's like, yeah, Ray Borg has had weight cutting issues, but at the same time, we've seen him make the weight. We've never seen TJ Dillashaw make the weight. Let him come down here and fight a contender and, you know, earn his shot. Now, I believe Valentina Shevchenko does deserve a title shot just because of her success at bantamweight, and if it's out of Valentina Shev, and if you're just talking about who's got probably the highest skill, if you're coming into the 125-pound division, it's probably Valentina Shevchenko. So that's why I believe she deserves the title shot, because she's had so much success at bantamweight and now she's moving down. And some people would argue, well, she's never made the weight, she's never fought at this division, so maybe she has to fight one time. But at the same time, it's not her fault she's never fought at this division. As you know, TJ Dillashaw, that's a little, you know, Demetrius Johnson has a little more of a case. 125 pounds has been here forever. If TJ Dillashaw thought he could be a flyweight, he would have probably been fighting a flyweight. It's going to take a lot out of him to make this weight class, and we've never seen it. And this whole time, flyweight's been here. So now when you're talking about Valentina Shevchenko, there's never been a 125-pound female division, so it's not her fault she couldn't fight there in the UFC. If there was one, she would have been there. She's sounding very confident in her abilities to make this weight class. She said that's 100% her new division, like no issues. If she's got to change her diet, whatever she's got to do, I'm sure she's going to be willing to do that, because this just seems like a division for Valentina Shevchenko to really rule at. But at the same time, the current champion Nicco Montano is like, yeah, I know everybody thinks, you know, she's going to take my title, but she's got to fight somebody. I might have to fight Sijara Eubanks first. So with that being said, it is what it is. I've said enough on this video. You can make your own conclusions. I'm sure the majority of the people are going to say that Nicco Montano is scared of Valentina Shevchenko. She's ducking the fade. She might be ducking the fade, but I'm not going to say she's scared. She's not, I don't think, like, as I said, she's not like terrified, like, oh my God, like it's like it's that type of scared. But yeah, she's probably ducking the fade a little bit here and saying that she's going to fight Sijara Eubanks, or that's who she plans on. And she also said she's not coming back till like May or July, so that gives Valentina Shevchenko plenty of time to at least get one fight. It may be two, I don't know the plans, but you know, to at least fight somebody in the 125-pound division. The UFC has released rankings for the 125-pound women's division as the Ultimate Fighter Season 26 finale ended. Now there's a division. A lot of the girls on there are from the Tough House. There's been a couple girls from the UFC that have fought at this division, so they're going to make their way onto the rankings. Paige Van Zandt scheduled to fight Jessie Jess Clark at UFC St. Louis, which is a fight night, I believe. Valentina Shevchenko does not have a fight scheduled, but she is, I'm sure she's willing to take a fight, as it's looking like she might have to. As you know, we see this a lot. Sometimes champions duck the fade, and fighters have to earn their way up there. You know what I'm saying? TJ Dillashaw, I mean, you can say Demetrius Johnson was ducking the fade a little bit, but it's a little, that situation, I think Demetrius Johnson gets a little more slack because that division's been around. You know, TJ Dillashaw could have fought there before. He never has. He's just coming for that belt. So I do want to see that fight, Demetrius Johnson versus TJ Dillashaw. I want to see Valentina versus Nicco Montano. I mean, the only fight I've seen from Nicco Montano was versus Roxanne Modafferi at the Ultimate Fighter finale, and it is what it is as far as that's concerned. I mean, her record overall is 4-2 in MMA. Valentina Shevchenko is one of the most experienced combat sports female fighters to date that I can think of, as far as her Muay Thai experience and her MMA experience is concerned. So once she makes the weight, gets one fight, she might have to take 2 fights as far as politics are concerned, because yes, I do feel like Valentina should be the champion. She has to win the title clearly, but I do feel like Valentina Shevchenko will become champion, but politics do come into play. I mean, we felt like George St. or maybe Robert Whittaker should have fought Michael Bisping, or maybe Yoel Romero should have fought Bisping, but sometimes politics come into play. I mean, you know, a fighter can get an injury, so, you know, sometimes it is what it is, man. I've said enough on this video. It's looking like the current champion is arguing or vying for a fight, maybe versus Sijara Eubanks. I'm very interested to see what you guys have to say in the comments. With that being said, it's what it is. Let the full-time family know what the fuck you tell me in the comments. I'm out.
Da 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 da. It's the motherfucking DOWG.